Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Show Me How It's Done. I'm your host, Lauren Urbonis with Lauren's Scraplot, and I am a Canadian demonstrator, so if you need help or have questions about any of the products that I'm showing, I'm more than happy to help you out with those, okay? I will put all of the supplies and the measurements in the description on the video. So if, as we're going along, you miss something, don't worry, you can always come back and check that out, or you can send me a message afterwards. So I'm hoping we're good, our stream is up, and if you're here, say hello, and I'd love to see who's watching. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I will try and answer them if I see them, but if I'm in the middle of something, then I'll definitely get back to you afterwards, okay? So what I want to do today is I want to show you a card that is based off of the new Heart and Home Suite. So this is just a really versatile collection. I'm going to turn this over. There are all sorts of goodies that come in this suite. So you can have the Blessings of Home bundle, there's the Honeybee Home bundle, and then there's my favorite, the Hive embossing folder. I've used that so much lately. And we've got ribbon, embellishments, doilies, memories, and more, and some paper. So what I'm going to feature today is basically just some paper and some usages of the bundles. However, if you're looking for other ideas for these products, I have a specialty class coming up, I think in April, because this month is my Rainbow of Happiness. Next month is the New Horizon bundle. So the month after that, there we go, is April. We're going to do some coloring techniques because this is the perfect bundle for you to sign up for that. I can mail kits anywhere in Canada. The registration will open on April 1st and you'll need to sign up right away so I can get your products and get those off to you. But let's show you what you're making today. So this is called a reverse easel card. So pardon my wonky little arm. We might, have to move a little slower today. I started out with some fun little carpal tunnel stuff, and then I got taken out at the dog park by a couple pups who were playing, and it's just so icy here that I didn't stand a chance. So luckily I had the brace on already, and so I don't, nothing really got damaged worse than it was. It's just, taking a little while to heal. But at least it's my left hand because I can stamp away with my right. So here we go. Reverse easel card. Kind of looks really fun. You've got a space to write on the back. And it's just perfect to set on your desk and stare at lovingly because it's absolutely gorgeous. So I am going to walk you through the pieces that you're going to want to have cut and prepped. And then I have a few little techniques for you. We're going to do a little embossing of this flower and, give you a couple pointers with that. And here I did use the Hive embossing folder. You can see that in the background. It's so fun. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy. These are the two bundles here, and I will just point out the stamps that I'm using today. So this flower from the Blessings of Home, I'm using that for my pink centerpiece here, and there is a coordinating die that can cut it out. From the Honeybee Home, I'm using the two little bees, as you probably guessed, those two right there, and they have dies. And then I'm using the flower that I'm stamping in Misty Moonlight from the Honeybee Home, and also a sentiment. So you can use whichever sentiments you want. You could use have a perfect birthday, you're the nicest, such happy news. Anything like that will fit really nicely onto our little rectangle at the bottom here. So it's completely up to you. I just really liked the script of you're the nicest. And as usual, if you don't own these bundles, you can certainly order them through me or try and use something in your collection. Cut all the pieces, like I suggested, use your DSP, use your focal stamp. Everyone's going to come up with something different. But the fun part is we can all do this fold together and then you can decorate it however you want. And I do love seeing them, so make sure to put them in the comments on my videos so that other people can see what you're making too. Okay, so I'm going to move this and walk you through what you need to have cut. So that's quite a bit of stuff here, okay? So we're going to start with a card base. This is Misty Moonlight, and that's going to be the whole base here. I have cut it at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. And we're putting 2 score marks. So the first one is going at 2 1/8, and the second is going at 4 1/4. So now we can, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just fold that to show you where it goes. So you fold it in half first. So you basically have a 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 square. And then this section you fold upwards, okay? So that on your workspace, what you're going to have in front of you is 2 sections that are small rectangles and 1 large square. So this I'm doing so you can kind of visualize what I'm talking about. So this piece of white is going on the back of our card. That's going to be so you have something to write on, because it's really nice, you know, to put just a quick little message. Somebody knows who this is from. This is a 4 by 4 square of white. That's it. We will do a little stamping on this piece, and maybe I'll just get that done right now so it's out of our way, because you're busy cutting right now. So 4 by 4, I'm going to put a little flower in the corner like so. And of course you can always come back and do that part later, but it is nice to just have this ready to go. And so I don't have to flip back over, I'm going to attach this just with a flat dimensional. So I'm using tape. You can definitely use seal, glue, whatever your preference is here, okay? I know every crafter is different. And don't worry, we'll get to the dimensionals, but you don't want this card not to fit in your envelopes. Okay, so just make sure that your 2 rectangles are at the top of your workspace as we're working here. And then this bottom section will be the rectangle for your sentiment. Okay, so flipping back over, let's talk about cutting some pieces for this. Okay, so let me open this up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. First, we're going to do a 4 by 4 square for the front of our card. So this is going to be in Blushing Bride. However, you can also use Petal Pink. Actually, I think this one's Petal Pink. You can use Blushing Bride. It's completely up to you. Okay, whatever you like. So 4 by 4 of the Petal Pink. And then we're also going to do sections for these 2. So 2 of them that are identical, you're going to want 1 7/8 by 4 inches. Okay, and we do need 2 of those for these 2 panels. And you can go ahead and attach that. I'm going to do it now so that you can be cutting while I'm talking. And once again, using a flat adhesive of some sort. Sorry, this is going very slow. There we go. Because we want to really add the dimension with our tag rather than the different shadowed layers here, okay? So adding adhesive on that. These pieces should be pretty easy to kind of see that, oh, they only fit in one spot. But once again, just make sure you've got your 2 rectangle squares at the top, rectangles at the top of your workspace, because other things we do need that directionality. Okay, so here we go. Making sure we've got a nice little blue border all the way around. I love this color. Guys, I'm so sad it's leaving us soon. So just so you know, Misty Moonlight is one of our in colors, and that means that Stampin' Up! Offered it 2 years ago, well, going on 2 years ago, as one of their specialty collections, and it will be retiring this year. So in April, it will be officially retired. However, people know this, and so if you love any of the colors in the collection, then you're going to want to make sure to order your paper, your ink, your refills now so that you get them, because once people start thinking new catalog, those products just go, and Stampin' Up doesn't replace them either, okay? So let me just grab the 5 colors for you. You know which ones I'm talking about. I'm going off on a tangent, but Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, and Misty Moonlight. Those 5 colors are going to retire. So please, please, please order. You can talk to your demonstrator if you're not ordering through me, but order your refills, because once those are gone, then these ink pads are kind of useless to you after you use them up. So just make sure to have an ink refill, maybe 2 of these colors, so that these ink pads basically last you the rest of your life. Paper wise, there's always going to be something else. So if you love it, stock up. If you're a little ambivalent, don't worry about it. But if you've invested in these ink pads, I don't want that investment to go to waste. So buy your refills. Okay, hopefully you've cut all those pieces now. Ooh, I'm dropping things. Oops. Oh well. I'm not as beautiful. That light fell off. Okay, so here we go. So I've got now a piece of designer series paper, and that is from the Heart and Home collection. So this piece is cut at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I want to make sure that my flowers, because this is a directional piece, are now facing towards the top of my workspace, like away from myself, because otherwise when you open up your card, they would be upside down, and that would be really sad for you, okay? So 2 more pieces of a different pattern or the same pattern, whatever you'd like, but I kind of really like these wood grains. So just a little tip for you. One side of the paper in this collection has gorgeous patterns, really fun patterns. The other side is all black, white, gray, in wood tones, and it's so fun to play with, because I know we often get maybe 2 sheets of a wood tone in a package. This could be 12 sheets if you use the back side of everything. So there we go, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 for the large one. And then these 2 pieces are going to be 1 5/8 by 3 3/4. You'll need 2 of them, identical, okay? Once again, grabbing your flat adhesive, we're going to add those onto our project. There we go. And definitely use, you know, whatever designer series paper you have on hand for this card. You can make any sort of color combination. If you don't have this suite, what I like to do is pick a designer series paper that I want to work with, and then I choose the colors for my base depending on colors that I see in the paper. So these flowers, they're petal pink, so that's where I got the idea for this background color. And then later, or somewhere else in the package, there's some really pretty Misty Moonlight packets, so that's where I got the base color from. So just spread your paper out and match it to the colors in your collection, and that way you'll know they coordinate. Also on our packages, if you've kept the original like backing, there's a list of coordinating colors that would work with your designer series paper. So if you grab from your shelf something random, so this is the Fine Art Floral, for instance, not current anymore, but this list says Bumblebee, Fleur de Flamingo, Mary Merlot, Mossy Meadow, etc. Gives you all of the colors of paper that Stampin' Up has used within this package, so they guaranteed will work with your color scheme. Okay, so that's something to, I guess, keep in mind before throwing out all that packaging. Maybe you want to keep that little list. It's also in the catalog too, underneath the paper itself. Okie dokie. There we go. So here is our backing. Now what we want to do is we're going to make this little rectangle feature. And we do want to do stamping ahead of time on that, okay? So you're going to cut a rectangle that's the same color as your base for the shadow feature, and then I used white. If you've got a paper that maybe has a more vanilla tone, you'll switch to vanilla now at this point. Okay, so I am using the Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to cut this one at 7/8 of an inch, so just shy of 1 inch by 3.5. And this one is going to be 5/8 of an inch by 3 1/4. Okay, and those will get layered together like so. If you're a little unsure about your stamping, do your stamping first, because if you make a mistake, we can always turn this over, use the other side. So let's do that because it's actually just a really good form of practice. I'm bringing in my Misty Moonlight once again, and I used the You're the Nicest sentiment. So that right in the middle of your space, and that looks beautiful. Now you can attach this with a flat adhesive, so I'm just going to use tape for that. And mount it right on top of my blue rectangle. Oh, so you should have a little bit of a frame around, and let's say you cut yours just a little off like I did here. This is just the easiest edge for me to cut a tiny bit more off of so that I've got it nestled in nice and even. First time on our card, we're going to use dimensionals. So go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this. And you do want this piece nice and sturdy because we're going to have that easel resting on it when it's on the desk. So use, 3 or 4 dimensionals across here. And now this piece is going to go in your square in the bottom here, okay? So I'm not lining it up to the bottom of the flowers. I'm moving it up probably about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. There's no exact measurement that you need to use here, so it's definitely wherever you feel the most comfortable, but you want it in the bottom third of this space, okay? And then make sure you've got an equal border on each side of your card here. So I'm going to put that right there, like so. And we would like this rectangle feature, correct? So we're going to cut some more paper for that. First is going to be another piece of Misty Moonlight. So once again, I'm matching that background base, whatever color you've chosen. So this piece is 2.5 by 3 3/4. And then you've got either white or vanilla, depending on what you're using. This is going to be 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And if you want, you can run it through an embossing folder of your choice. Totally up to you. We're going to attach these two pieces together with a flat adhesive. And because I've embossed and I've got so much detail in there, I do really want to make sure that I'm adding a lot of adhesive to this piece to make sure it's attaching properly to that cardstock underneath. There we go. Like so. Oh, I haven't said it yet. Sorry. Some of you have been saying hi. Hi. I'm sorry I can't go back and look at the whole list of everyone now, but I'm sorry. I love you. Thanks for watching. Okay, so this piece here, we are going to put some dimensionals on the back of. However, if you'll notice, it only attaches to the top of the rectangle panels, does not attach at all to the second one, okay? So we don't want any dimensionals on the bottom here. So the easiest way to do that to avoid, being sad about this later is to put your dimensionals in the first panel. Okay, so we've made sure that this top panel is facing the top here, and you just want some in the middle of the designer series paper because if you'll notice, we don't have anything attaching to the sides and we still want to see a strip at the top here. So all I'm going to do is I've put about 6 dimensionals in the middle of this space. I haven't taken the backings off yet, but so that would fit perfectly under this section. You're not going to know they're there, and I'm not risking putting anything on a section I don't want sticking. Okay, so put them on your designer series paper. Once you're happy with them, we're going to put this piece so that there's a teeny little gap on the top and about an equal distance between these two sections on the sides. Okay, tiny gap, making sure you're not going over this center line, okay? Because you don't want it all the way in the bottom. It wouldn't fold into your envelope nicely because then it'll hang down here, and that's not pretty. Okay, so nicely done up here. Now we need to do some decorations, okay? So I have gone ahead and I've already done 2 little bumblebees, but it's the same idea of the flower, okay? I'm doing white embossing powder on top of a colored cardstock. So this one I did the bumblebees on the Misty Moonlight. For the flower, I'm going to work on top of that petal pink. So I'm gonna bring this over. I've got my stamp all mounted from the Blessings of Home set. And I'm going to use my sticky Versamark ink. All right, so tapping all over this flower with that Versamark. And then this is a scrap piece of paper, so I'm not going to give you a measurement for it. Just make sure that it's large enough to fit a flower on, okay? So this is just a scrap that I've made sure I can fit a little flower on top of, which you can't see at the moment because Versamark is clear. So we're going to take our white stamping emboss powder, and I like to work on top of either a little plate or paper, or I have trays, and that way I'm not spilling embossing powder all over my desk. Okay, so tapping it just gently with your fingers should get rid of any extras. Don't worry if there's any on the sides here because we are going to cut this flower out, so it doesn't matter if you've got any excess there. Okay, so I'm going to just put this somewhere safe so I don't spill it. There we go. And I'm going to now bring in my heat tool and start blowing this so that instead of this kind of chalky look that you're seeing here, we're going to get a nice glossy look on the flower. You can see the difference. One is very bland, you can barely see it, and then once I heat it, it's going to brighten, and it will almost look like this has kind of melted into a shiny plasticky look. You won't be able to hear me while I'm doing this, and I have to do it over here. There we go. Hopefully you were kind of able to see as I worked how this turned really nice and shiny. So make sure to let it just sit for like 5 seconds or so. It'll be fine by the time I'm talking, but it is a little sticky to the touch just for about 5 to 10 seconds. So because we're going to be grabbing our mini emboss machine and cutting this out, we want to make sure it didn't stick to the plates that you're using, okay? So let me grab my die. I like to store my dies inside this case here on some magnetic sheets, which I'm sorry, I know some of you have asked me where I got them. They're from Amazon, but they're not available right now because of, you know, the lovely supply shortages everywhere. So I can't post a link. But if you are in Edmonton, I may or may not have like a lot on hand. So feel free to ask if you need some. Okay, so our mini emboss machine, we put our white plate down first, then we put one of our plates. Maybe I'll put my flatter one. So clear plate, and then we're gonna put our paper and our cute little die. If you're afraid that your die is going to move on you, you can grab just a piece of like masking tape, or washi tape is better because it doesn't stick to your paper, and kind of hold this die in place. But I'm going to risk it. So I've got it around the edge, and I'm going to put this nicely on top so it makes a sandwich, and roll through, hopefully not too hard. Switching hands. Left hand doesn't want to do it. There we go. So we're rolling it through, and out will pop this fun little die. There's a little extra piece. Pop it out with your thumb. Okay, so put this away. And I'm sorry, I have to put my die away because I'm just so afraid of losing them. There we go. Okay. Now we can start decorating. So here's my original card. This is what I did. So I'm going to first put my flower onto the card. Just with some dimensionals on it. And you can put it straight up if you want, but I thought it was kind of cute if you just tilted it to the side. It looks a little nicer. And then I'm going to add a little bumblebee beside there. So I'm going to put on his body just two little dimensionals. I like these bees, they're so cute. And put that right tucked in beside the flower. And then I thought, hey, I really want to use this other bee, so I'm going to add him down in the bottom part. And I'm just putting one dimensional right beside my letter Y, and you can put your B on top of that space. Okay, now of course you could bring in some of those gorgeous matte dots if you wanted and add a few, but I really wanted the embossing to kind of be the focus on this card. So if you're using something else and you're not embossing, you're maybe just stamping, then bring your elements in and just kind of make it come alive for yourself. Now, one little tip is, because I can stand my sample up, it looks great. You're going to try and stand this one up and it's going to flop back. It's going to say, no, I don't really want to do that. I'm going to sit like this, or I'm going to flop back and not do anything. The way to solve that problem is take your bone folder, close this up like so, and you see this fold in the back here, this guy, just do it once again. Okay, we did do it once, but if he is nice and crisp, then it's going to naturally push this paper forward and it will rest on your little rectangle. Okay, so that's why it's kind of flopping. It's because we've done so much manhandling on here. And so you'll maybe want to remember that if you're packaging it in an envelope, maybe give it an extra crisping before you go so that when your friend or family member receives it, they'll be able to just quickly pop this into place. Okay, so there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this card. I had so much fun making it that I even decided for tonight's monthly card class, I'm going to do one. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek, but don't tell them. We're making it with bumblebees and ladybugs, and I will be putting a sentiment. Actually, here's my sample. There we go. Right there, I made this one a birthday card. So I'm not going to show you anymore because lots of you I know are going to be attending class tonight with me, and you'll get to make that card. So I do have monthly card classes that you can buy kits for. It's the second Tuesday of every month. So the kits are $15 or free with a $35 order. And I know a few of you have asked me about it. So that's the deal. They're $15 or free with a $35 order. I can mail them across Canada for $2. However, you may not get yours in time for the live class just because they're sent via letter mail to make it, cheap and affordable for you. But I have recordings of all of these, so you can watch it anytime whenever you get your kit, and then you'll have all the pieces, and you just need to add a stamp set here and there. But yes, so hopefully that answered a few of your questions, because I mentioned them last week and some people were messaging asking for information. If you want more information, I can certainly send you a kit, you know, for February's class. The class is tonight, but you can complete them anytime, or you can just preactively sign up for March if you'd like as well. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the reverse easel card, and I look forward to seeing what you make and crafting with you again soon. Okay, bye guys.